It is a great privilege and extreme joy to introduce our esteemed speaker, who is not only a friend of St. Francis, but a personal friend of mine, who I've been blessed and very fortunate to know for many years now. And I call her Superwoman, Wonder Woman. She is just incredible. She's a gift and a huge blessing to the college, the community, and beyond. And I just want to share her short bio before I enter into some questions that we prepared. And then, as Chris mentioned, any of the audience, Zoom and our members can, towards the end, come up with some questions that they would like Ana to answer. Okay, so without further ado, Ana Oliveira is a Senior Vice President, New York Market Executive for Investors Bank, where she currently oversees 47, not 47 branches in the New York market. Ana joined Investor Bank in 2010 when the bank acquired Millennium BCP Bank, where she was serving as a regional manager in the retail division. Before joining Millennium, she spent 10 years with Penn Federal Savings Bank, which was acquired by the Garden State Community Bank, a division of NYCB, in 2007. Ana began her career as a part-time teller, moving up the ranks to head teller, followed by assistant branch manager, business development officer, and then to her last position, served there as first vice president and regional manager of Northern New Jersey. I'm convinced as I read this that you just don't sleep, Ana. Miss Oliveira places a strong focus on serving the local communities in her New York market. Ana is currently the board chair of the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, serves on the board of trustees of Futures in Education, and most recently has joined the board of directors at the JCC of Staten Island. She has previously served on the board of directors for the Queen's Theater, New Jersey City University Foundation, and the Portuguese American Chamber of Commerce in New Jersey. In addition, she served as the treasurer of the Portuguese American Congress of New Jersey. You're going to hopefully run for SFC mayor one of these days, right? In July of 2019, Miss Oliveira received a and I might not get this correct. I hope I looked it up too. Pace Bene, which means peace and all good award. I learned this when I was on my pilgrimage to Assisi recently. She received this award from our college, St. Francis, and was also recognized as one of the top women on Wall Street, receiving a double wow award in 2019. And she also received the Neighbor of the Year award from the North Brooklyn Angels in March of 2019. In June 2017, Ms. Oliveira was honored with the Community Corporate Responsibility Award by City and State. In April 2016, she was honored as the Businesswoman of the Year by the Federation of Italian American Organizations. Ms. Oliveira was also awarded the Brooklyn Business Cornerstones Award by the Brooklyn Borough President in 2015. She has been the past recipient of the Women's History Celebration Award from the Greater Chamber of New York and was also recognized as Brooklyn Woman of Distinction. Ana graduated from East Side High School in Newark, New Jersey, before earning her Bachelor of Arts in English and Journalism from New Jersey City University. From one Garden State native to another, it is a joy and an honor to know you, Ana, and to have been friends with you and professional associates. Now I'd like to start our series of questions that we've prepared, and following that, we'll take any other questions.
Sure.
Again, make sure to address them to Chris Hughes. Okay, Ana, can you kindly tell us from what city you are speaking today?
Well, today I am speaking to you from Lyndhurst, New Jersey, Bergen County, maybe about 5 miles away from the Lincoln Tunnel. I have about 4 more days before I'm allowed back into New York. And so I've been staying here during the unfortunate COVID environment we've been in.
Were you born in the New Jersey area, and where did you obtain your elementary and secondary education?
Sure. So I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, in the Ironbound section. First generation of immigrant parents that came from Portugal. Am I frozen? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. First generation from Portuguese immigrants, and when in the 60s, you know, when you were immigrating from Portugal, the Portuguese are really seafarers, fishermen, and so they all stayed along the East Coast. So it was either Massachusetts or New Jersey. And so my parents came and really started their life in the Ironbound section of Newark, New Jersey.
Which is beautiful and very historic, and Portugal is one of my favorite countries.
Well, I'm not gonna argue, but it is a beautiful country, and I welcome anyone that ever wants to visit. I can help you with your activities and your planning.
Now, Anna, as a high school senior, you were faced with the decision of choosing a college. What college did you choose and why?
Okay, so I apologize, I didn't answer the previous question fully that you had asked, Naomi, but I went to Ann Street School in Newark, and for my high school, even though I graduated from Eastside High School, I went from public school to Queen of Peace High School in North Arlington, New Jersey for the first 3 years, me and my older brother. And unfortunately, 3 years in, I mean, a Catholic and private education today is already costly, never mind to immigrant parents that, you know, have really just came and been in the country for, you know, under 15 years. So me and my brother transferred to Eastside High School for our final senior year. And I guess for you to understand why I chose the college I chose, maybe knowing a little bit about my childhood and all my dreams that I had, obviously, that led me to New Jersey City University. I had originally had all my whole life, since a little young girl, I wanted to go into law. And I was mesmerized with law. I was what my cousins would call a dork in the summer, because while they're out playing in the morning in the backyard, I was watching Family Court at 9 a.m. I never missed the 9 a.m. show. I can't remember what that name of that, but it was a family court, and I loved it so much because the judge was really one of the nicest gentlemen, I think, that I knew on TV, and he was always helping families, and no matter, even if some of them didn't deserve to be talked to nice, he was always nice. And so I spent my childhood really growing and wanting to follow the footsteps of that judge. And so through my high school years, I also was very active and volunteered a lot. And so at one point while I was in high school, I decided maybe law wasn't where I wanted to go. Maybe it was social work. And so, yeah, and so my senior year, I was stuck with this dilemma, actually my end of junior year, of whether to go through at that point, it was Monmouth College, it's Monmouth University now, because they had a good program there. I decided, no, I wanted to continue and pursue law. And so I was already working full time, and I wanted to be able to have a schedule of night classes available to me and weekend classes. And so New Jersey City University was literally 10 minutes from my house. My parents were happy because I got to stay home, and I was able to go to work and come back. And so I decided to attend New Jersey City, at that point was New Jersey City College, and then it became my senior year, New Jersey City University. So
I remember when they made that change there. Were you able, Anna, to do an internship during your years of college? And in general, just how important would you say internships are to one's career?
Well, they're very important. When I was going through my college years at New Jersey City University, a lot of the roles that I had in my first 3 years of college came through my mentors at the college and came through the counselors that I was working with. And they exposed me to a lot of different opportunities. And so by the time I was ready to do an actual internship for what I had chosen, remember I told you I wanted to go into law. Everyone here is like, she's in banking. I realized my junior year that I did not want to go into law anymore. And so I took a semester off, almost a whole year off, before I decided that I wanted to come back and finish. And law school was not my path, I think I saw. And I started, I had an internship opportunity to work because I was studying English and that was my major. And I love to write. So journalism was the track that I chose. And I had an opportunity to work at the Daily News.
Oh.
Sorry, my screen just went out. So let me just go back in. I apologize, everyone.
We heard you just mention you had the opportunity to work at Daily News.
Yeah, so I had that internship opportunity, but at the same time, I had been offered a position at the bank as a part-time teller that was close to home and by school. And when I started working there, maybe about the end of the junior year, I was able to work along with my marketing team. And so they were able to facilitate the internship through my bank. And so I worked and did what I needed to do to get my my credits. But the internship was very valuable because it gave me experience in writing. So and when I say writing, speaking, writing, press, marketing, PR releases, it was very interesting and it was something different because I had never done that. But it's very important because I'm going to tell you, when I did this, while I enjoyed writing, I also realized, because I was exposed to this daily, I realized I also did not want to go into journalism. So, and so I continued on the track in the bank, which I found a passion for. And 26 years later, I'm here.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? But you have so many transferable skills, which is why I call you the Wonder Woman, because you were able to use all of these experiences for your internship into applying what you're doing now. And it looks like it's only been 10 years, not even.
Thank you.
How about, tell us, please, Anna, about your first job after college, and share with us some of the other chapters of your professional story.
Sure. So, as I continued, and I said I had started working at the bank, I wanted to apply everything that I had learned through my high school years, my college, what my family taught me. And, one of the values was always just, if you're going to do it, even if you don't like it, you have to do it the best that you can. And so my path went from, okay, I'm starting entry level. I have the opportunity to grow in this, organization. And so I took every single opportunity that came to me. And so I started learning it from the bottom up. So when you were reading my bio, which is embarrassing every time I hear it, the one thing that I'm very proud of is that I literally learned every role in the bank, which makes it easier for me now when I have a group of 47 teams throughout New York. I know what each one is responsible for doing, and I know what those challenges are, and I know where they might need help. And so my career was perfectly set up where, not perfectly set up, I apologize, I shouldn't say that. The way it looks like it was perfectly set up was that I had a great, plan, set for me, but it wasn't as easy as it sounds. And, so my career, what I'm very fortunate about is that I had that exposure to every single role to get me to be where I am today.
And now you're also able to share your words of wisdom and insights that you've gained over the years with us. So we're extremely thankful.
Thank you.
Anna, you've been involved in not one, but 2 acquisitions. Any tips for us on dealing with change, especially during our challenging, changing, turbulent times that we live in now?
Sure. So let me just correct. I've been probably about, I think we just finished my 13th acquisition. So over the past, my career, but especially in the past, I think 15 years, I've had 13 acquisitions. I've been acquired and I've been on the acquiring side, which is also a plus, right? Because I get to understand what it feels like someone that is being part of an acquisition, as well as, you know, someone that is acquiring. And you're talking about different times, and in today's world, we literally just finished an acquisition the first weekend of April when COVID had just really had, you know, gone on high speed. And you're talking about change. We had to change what I knew what I was doing for the first 12, and I had it down to a pattern, a science, a checklist, to now doing everything overnight, a whole new plan, and doing everything virtually and differently, right? And not being able to be there with the people personally. And so, you know, the acquisitions, it is a great way for me to adapt. The one thing that I loved about all the acquisitions I was involved with, but especially in the last 10 years, it really exposed me to a lot of different things that I probably would have been exposed to if I wasn't in New York. I got exposed to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different communities, a lot of different religions, beliefs. And I think that's been what I've admired the most in the last 10 years with all the acquisitions I've done, was like all the new things that I learned and I've been able to experience. And so, but you have to be able to adapt. Right. You have to be able to change. You have to be able to be understanding, and you have to be able to, you know, go with the flow and be open for change at all times.
And that shows that if we're open to change, we're more resilient. We're able to embrace the unknown, the fear of tomorrow that seems to be permeating people's minds can dissipate, and instead we showcase, you know, how we're growing through adversity together. Yep. Okay. Now, your current role as Senior Vice President, New York Market Executive, sounds very exciting and very all-encompassing. Can you kindly share with us a little bit more about the role, maybe some pros and cons to your day?
Sure. So it sounds fancy, the title. I always hate it when people actually say my title, especially even my team members. But really my role is I oversee our organization in New York. And so what does that mean? That means I'm in charge of, you know, developing the team members, finding the right team members, going out into the community, seeing who we should be supporting, who should we be active with, looking for new locations, creating campaigns, staying on budgets, the big bad B word, which is probably the one thing that I'm not too good at. But really, yeah, so I help make the connections with our charitable foundation. We're very fortunate to have our foundation. But really, you know, my job is to just make sure that my teams and Investors Bank employees have everything that they need to be successful. Tools and services, yeah.
I was talking to my team members, and none of us were able to fathom overseeing even one branch, let alone 47 branches at the same time. What are some of your secrets to doing this so effectively and efficiently?
I give it up every day to my team. I'm surrounded, and I'm very fortunate to have the team that I have with me, because I would not be able to do it. I have 5 individuals that help, you know, geographically kind of cover those branches and help me assist and be on the floor running when I'm not there. And they're fantastic. They're fantastic because they all bring a different style and talent on their own. You know, they have their own swagger. And collectively, when we kind of when we get together, it's like an explosion, a good one, you know, because it really allows us to enjoy what we do, but I would not be able to do it if it wasn't for my team. And you'll find that that's very important.
I used to work in HR, so we'd hire
Mhm.
our best and brightest because they were able to, connect to the company mission and vision. And
Sure.
that was when I worked at Ernst & Young. So you're right. Team is everything, right? Especially
Yeah.
when they share the same philosophy.
Yeah, and not one person knows everything. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Correct.
So you get enough people around you that they each know something that you don't, then you're now being surrounded by, just talent that can help you. So
Right.
if not one person, there's no way that you can do it all by yourself and know everything. It's impossible.
Correct. Anna, it's very evident that you are extremely fulfilled in your professional life and hopefully your personal. What is it about your work that brings you such great joy?
All right. So I say this, and I say this wholeheartedly all the time to anyone. The last 11 years, it's going to be 10 years. I unofficially started working with investors kind of before that official date on that bio. What I enjoy every day is that I'm coming in and it's not the same day, but it's not just about working at a bank. It's actually working with the communities that we're serving. When you say being fulfilled, we work a lot of hours, just like many of the familiar faces and names that I see on the screen. We're out a lot after work, our part-time job, like I like to say, that's all volunteer. But at the end of the day, I might be pulling in 15, 16 hours, but I feel good because what we are doing is helping the community and the organizations and, whether strive, whether it's survive, whether it's, education, whether it's support. So, working at Investors Bank, and I can speak this for this organization, and it might not necessarily be every financial institution, but there's many other ones that do the same thing we do. But it's fulfilling because you're able to serve the community with their financial needs, but you're also able to help them with their personal needs, and so it's very fulfilling. At the end of the day, you're tired, but you feel good.
Well, for all of the students or alumni on the call, hopefully you'll be able to hire them so they can have fulfilling opportunities there too.
I would love to. I'll tell you, I will take, if I can, a student from St. Francis any day of the week, and I'm going to tell you why. I have yet to meet any leader, any student, any faculty member that hasn't been a pleasure to be with or speak with, or hasn't been genuine. I mean, the values that you instill there, it's from the top down. It's just fantastic. So I would take students from St. Francis any day. I'll let you know.
That's great to hear.
We're opening up 3 branches this year, so I'm going to need some people.
Okay, we're going to send resumes. And
Yeah.
You can hire all of them. What would you say, Anna, during your professional career, what are some of the key lessons you have learned about maybe yourself, life, work, anything you want to share about some key lessons to take away?
One big lesson I learned, and I had to learn to continue growing in my role, was that I couldn't do it all myself. I had, not that I like to be in control, but I like to make sure that what assignments get done right, the planning gets done right. But when it's okay when you have a small team and you're all actively engaged on a daily basis. When it gets to be a larger team, there's no way you can do that. And you know what? As a leader, you have to be able to trust the people that work with you. And so the delegating of assignments and having that trust, I learned that maybe about 12, 13 years ago when I just said I had to change this way of doing business and having a team. And so that was the big lesson I learned, because when I actually switched that switch off on, I realized that was being more of a leader than a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, You always got to trust your team. Just like I say now, I couldn't do it without my team. God, I don't know why I didn't start doing this 20 years ago, you know? You have to trust, lead, coach, and you can't do it all yourself. So that's one big lesson. And you have to be adaptable to change, you know? And so very, very two big keys of, you know, my career, where I had that epiphany, I guess, right? To know and to grow.
Well, and leading to my next question, to your point, you, I believe, you know, mentors have played a part in your professional journey. Could you explain just how important mentors are? And we know, of course, you'd be a great mentor for our students. You're very empowering and inspiring. Maybe touch on mentorship, because some of our students are new to the concept and are a little shy when it comes to networking. So I want to hear from you on the importance of the mentorships.
You know, it's very important. I never realized how many mentors I had in my life, really, until I started looking back at all the changes I had throughout my career. And there was a lot of mentors that I selected, and there were mentors that I didn't even really realize they were being mentors, that today I said I couldn't be where I am without them. And so, you know, depending on your field, depending on what your passion is, it's very important to have a mentor. And it's actually pretty good to have more than one mentor, so you can have more than one view and input and insight and advice. But mentors, I think my biggest mentor was Paul Calamaris. He actually works for the bank now, and you know, he has also held every role pretty much in the industry, and he is now our chief risk officer. But he was a great mentor to me because he taught me how to be a leader without even, you know, making it sound like I was having a lesson, or if I was getting schooled, or if I was, you know, learning, you know, a skill set. It was just a natural way that he was being a mentor. And so it's very important. So look for those influences and those mentors, but also recognize the ones that you might already have that you don't really consider mentors, and work with them if you feel that comfortable with them and you feel that they are in that stage of their career that they can give you that insight and advice. But very important.
Thank you, Anna, for your well-expressed emphasis on mentorships. You also place a strong focus on serving the local communities in your New York market. Why this focus, and what are some of the ways that you personally enjoy giving back?
Oh, wow. You know, I say it all the time. I'm fortunate, like I said before, working for a company that we're able to do that. We have our channel, we do it many different ways. So we do it on the banking side, where we give our financial literacy, we give our time trying to help small businesses, business plans. And then we have our charitable foundation also that allows us to go into the communities that we're serving and helping them, you know, really provide services that are needed for the community. You know, whether it's social services, whether it's a food pantry, whether it's educational scholarships, you know, whether it's our talent and giving advice, being on a board. You know, there's many different ways we were able to give back, but we feel, you know, we came in and, you know, we're coming into a community, right? And we're a business. So we expect people to do business with us, but it's not a one-way street. If I'm expecting a community to come in and do business with us, I have to be prepared to be that right partner in the community, right? I have to give back too. And you know what? When we have this great partnership, both the community wins and we win. You know, because we're helping one another. We're being those community partnerships are very important. And so, you know, helping, being available, you know, our talents, our muscle, whatever it is, it's very important. And I think that's why we've had a lot of the success. I know that that's why we've had the success that we've had, is because for every hour we put in the work week, many of us are putting the same extra hour in volunteer and giving back to the community. So it's very, very important.
Thank you, Anna, and I can't stress and highlight that enough either. Congratulations on all of your awards and accolades. You have really won countless awards for your tireless service. Is there one in particular that has extra special meaning for you?
Yeah, and you know, once you typically grow this, you know, on this ladder, you get invited and you get asked to, you know, be nominated to receive an award. And the ones on my bios are really the ones that really meant the most to me. And I leave them in my bio because they do mean a lot to me. And the recent one from St. Francis, the Pachi Beni, was really one of my favorite. I'm going to tell you why. Because St. Francis was one of the first schools, organizations that we actually got involved with when we came into downtown Brooklyn. So we're talking about eight years ago, maybe. And like I said, everyone that I have met from the college, from Tom Flood to you, Naomi, to Christopher, to James, to the students, to, you know, the presidents, Monique, I mean, everyone, Carl Sanz, I feel like I'm with family when I'm with you guys, because it's just so natural. It's nothing forced. So the partnership that we've been able to create is not really just a partnership, it's a friendship. And so to be recognized by St. Francis for, you know, the time and that we also volunteer of ourselves really meant a lot. And I'll tell you, no one has gone above and beyond at any of these award dinners like St. Francis did for me at that golf outing. The surprise with, you know, the ex-Jets football player, which is, of course, I'm a New York Jets fan, from the speeches to, it was just a really, I felt that it was the most natural and loving environment that I was in, that it was, I really enjoyed that one. So I really did appreciate it because, one, it's all about community, giving back, and being, you know, the Franciscan values. So I appreciated it.
Thank you, Anna. And I know we didn't pay you to say that, so that came
No,
from
I
the
didn't.
heart.
Yeah.
I only have a couple more questions, and then I'm going to turn the questions over to Chris, who's channeling them from students and participants on this call. I have about 5 more minutes, and then we'll leave time for the student Q&A. Might you have some special insights for the class of 2020 that has graduated during extremely difficult, unprecedented times, as well as current students or alumni on this call that are looking for jobs, internships, or a change of career?
Well, first, for all the graduates this year, just the fact that you were able to get through in this environment and all the changes that were thrown at you and all the challenges, you know, I want to congratulate you. The one thing I want everyone to, that especially the graduates, is, you know, take a second and breathe. Take a second and breathe and, you know, enjoy the celebration that you graduated. I think we're so quick always to say, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? That you're not enjoying this big accomplishment that you just, you know, got recognized for. You know, you graduated, you know, I want you to always dream big, always dream big. You know, I'm going to tell you, you need to surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with people that are going to bring you up when you're down. You know, the negative Nancy's you need to start walking away from, because it's not going to be good for you. And one thing I want you to know is that it's okay to fail. Okay, you have to fail to learn a lot of times. So it's not about how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up. You hear that quote a lot, but it's very important, because people, when they, you know, students, when they graduate and they want to come out of school, and they want to go fly and they want to prove that they're the best and they know everything that they're doing, that, you know, the expectation to fail is like, you can't, but it's good for you to fail, because that's how you're going to learn, you know. And, you know, find your passion. Life is not predictable by any means. If you can't tell the last 3 months, you need to be adaptable to change and be you. Don't be a copy of anybody else. You know, you're an original. Be your original and follow your own heart. So that's my advice.
Thank you, Anna. And we've learned so much from you today. I don't know what's next for you. If you want to briefly share that or discuss any final thoughts from your mind before I hand it over to Chris to channel out the questions. Any next steps?
Next steps, you know, I just want to continue to grow. And well, a lot of people, like at this point in my life, I just want to be that leader and the best leader I can be. I don't even care if I go into that next role. I'm happy where I am right now. So,
maybe future professor of St. Francis, one of the adjuncts at night.
Hey, you never know. You never know. But yeah, so, you know, it's one day at a time. As long as I can continue to have an impact in someone's life, that's all I can ask.
Thank you so much, Anna, for your transparency and insight. Chris, do we have some questions from the audience here?
Yes, and I want to thank Anna. I also want to say, as a Steeler fan from Western Pennsylvania, the two greatest Jets are from my part of the country, Joe Namath and Curtis Martin.
Joe Namath. I was a Joe Namath fan when I was little, and that's when I was a 49er fan. You followed into the Jets.
But yeah,
or was it the other way? I'm sorry. The other way, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, he went to the Rams for his last season in '77.
Yeah. I get it was before. I get confused. I was too young. I was too young, but we remember that, Joe Namath.
I'm old, so I remember when Joe Namath actually played. Trust me. Yeah. So anyway, we have a very long question from one of our alumni, Thomas McGuigan. So I might actually put this in, like, truncate this into different parts. Okay, let me see how I can do this. What is your take on professionalism with engagement, and what should it include besides research on the subject beforehand? Part one.
Okay, can you just repeat that? The rules of engagement?
Yeah, what is your take on professionalism with engagement, and what should that include besides research on the subject beforehand?
Sure. So I'm a big fan of, I'm going to say something that is probably not grammatically the right way to say it, but I like saying being informally formal. What that means is, you know, you can study and research all you want, and then you can know things. And so while we do a lot of research and study, whether it's a business we're going to go out to visit, whether it's new industry, if we should be lending out to, we really need to know also the people. Okay. And so there's a time where you can be formal, and then there's a time you can be informal, and then there's a time you can be informally formal, like I like to say. And you being informally formal puts you in a position where you're trying to have the person that you're engaging to feel comfortable with you. Okay, so I know a lot of students come out of college or they start a new job and they go and they have a checklist of 10 questions that they download off the internet, and you're saying, these are the questions I need to ask. Then you just sound like you're recording, right? When I say you have to know who you're engaging with and get to know them a little more, that's the one piece that is very important. When you're getting to meet someone, it's like dating somebody, right? You got to find out about this person. You got to ask questions. You got to let people speak to you, and then you have to understand where they're coming from and what they need and what they like. So it's not always about research. You can do the research, but you also need to, when you meet the person, do the research there and not sound like you are better than they are, but know that you're interested in them. So I hope that answers the question. It was a little, vague, but I hope that I did answer the question that you were asking, or gave you some insight.
Part two, I'm going to change the wording a little bit, and I hope that this is what he is trying to gather from this. What are other things that I guess employers are looking for other than one's personality, positive work ethic, and outlook, and ways of socializing with other people? What other qualities and characteristics are you looking for in terms of like hiring?
Well, what I look for, and I'll tell you, a lot of employers and a lot of friends of mine in my field, we're looking just for that. I'd rather have attitude before aptitude, because someone with a great attitude, you can teach them anything. But drive is an important factor. Organization is another factor. Willing to go above and beyond is also something that we look at. So on top of the attitude, the adaptability, the personality, so those are some of the other skill sets that we might look at.
Okay, here's another question from a student who is currently, this is interesting, currently working as a teller at one of your competitors.
Ooh, okay.
I will not say, because we're all about
you don't have to.
bank today, we will not say what the competitor is. This individual still has 2 years left at SFC and has formed the passion for the relationship management part of banking. Mm-hmm. Any tips as to what careers or jobs I can be looking to move into within the personal or business banking realm in the near future?
Sure. So if you would like to get into or enjoy the relationship building side of the bank, then that would be being on the retail side, right? So let me explain that. You have the retail and then you have the corporate side. Everything that is not a back office job typically falls in our industry. We call it retail. So you have business banking. Some banks call it business banking. Some banks call it relationship banking. Any role that's within the branch network, from a manager, district manager, however they're coding. But if you would like, if you like the relationship building, the growth would be. You said that the person asking the question is a teller. You said, I'm sorry, Chris.
Yes.
So the normal path that I would recommend is going from teller to platform at the bank, which is a customer service role, and then really capturing that is the key to your success, because that's where you learn all your skill sets on how to build relationships and how to ask questions, and what you might need to know. But then you go into every step, you learn a little bit more. And so the next role after that, I would recommend a branch manager role if the institution has that branch manager role going out for business. Some banks don't. That's why I want to clarify it. I don't know, which bank she's referring to. If your bank allows the manager to go out and try to, win business, build relationships, that would be your next avenue. And then going into the business banking role after that, which is outside of the branch, but still part of retail. So that should be your natural progression. If you skip any one of these steps, you can, if you have the right skill set, but you might miss a fundamental or two to make you successful in that future role that you want to get to. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes. And I think one final question we have, I'm going to say from my good friend, brother Greg Cellini,
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in an attempt to have work-life balance?
I've been trying to figure that one out for a while. When you enjoy what you do, there's a balance. When you enjoy what you do and you have passion, and even though we have a lot of hours that we work, like I said, I can be out, 4 or 5 times a week. It becomes part of your life. But work-life balance in its normal sense, you do have to have that balance. You do need to be able to, step away from your work and enjoy family, friends, quality time if you don't, by yourself if you want rest, because that gives you, it gives you the energy you need to continue, right? And so work-life balance is very important. In my world, I balance it because the reward is that I'm making an impact and I'm giving up my time, but I'm enjoying everything I'm doing. And then when I do need some off time, I just get on a plane and I try to go somewhere else that doesn't have internet service, which isn't too much right now, Greg. But work-life balance mentally and physically, you should focus on. But if you like what you do, it kind of balances itself out.
And one more quick question from me. And then after that, I'll give you some talking points about the next the next two career spotlights. But in this particular time, this is related to today. We've been asking this question quite a bit with some of our panelists and our speakers. What kind of advice that everyone here, not just even our students, but even our administrators who are here, alumni, can do during this pandemic to help forward their career development? What can you do during the pandemic to not stay in place?
I think you need to continue learning. I think you need to continue opening your minds to different ways of doing things. You can't stay stagnant. You have to be versatile. You have to change your plans frequently as the time changes. But you need to keep learning. That's very important. The more you learn new skill sets, the more important it becomes for you, because you're able to adapt to this new environment, whatever it is. You know, next week, in 2 weeks, it's going to be something different. In 3 weeks, it's going to be something different. But, you know, as far as development, you know, Naomi mentioned it earlier that, you know, the students, she knows a couple of people that might have been displaced or let go because of the environment we're in, and they're all going into this technology world, right? And that is taking a chance and going into another field that you probably have the foundations for, and you just need to build on that by learning some more. So just being open and continuous learning and looking for opportunities. Listen, the opportunities are there. They're everywhere. You just got to look at it, open your eyes, and really capture them.
Just one quick question before Chris advertises our next career spotlight, Anna. Could you tell us how you initially made a connection with St. Francis College and how our students and alumni can best contact you, if that's permissible with you?
Sure, yeah, of course, anytime. So, well, St. Fran, like I said, when we came in and we had the acquisition of Brooklyn Federal Savings, it gave us that building on Court of Livingston. And so I was I was the first employee there even before they remodeled and changed it for quite some time. But one of the things that we do when we go into a new market or a new neighborhood, we spend a couple of months trying to identify who are the organizations that are making an impact, who can we help, not because we want to come in and duplicate whatever they're, you know, what they might be doing, but how can we help support to be the right community partner for them, you know? And so I was very fortunate, though, that our president and chief operating officer, Dominic Kama, and knows Brooklyn very well and knew St. Francis very well, obviously. And his daughters attended and his son attended. And so we just, in the circles, we just started having conversations. I got to meet Dennis, you know, I got to meet Tom Flood. I got to meet you, Naomi. So the connection just started building and building. And now it just, if you asked me that question, it felt weird, me trying to think back to how we met. And it was just a natural meeting, I think, how it started. And we just built on that. So it was a friendship that really was an introduction from Dominic. And we continue growing this relationship, which is great.
Well, you certainly have Franciscan Terrier blood.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't give my contact. If anybody wants to ever reach out to me, I mean, I'll give you my direct cell phone number. Feel free to give me a call. My number is, forgive me, it's a New Jersey area code, but I've had the number for a long time. I can't give it up.
You can put in the chat also, Anna.
I'm sorry?
You can also put in the chat if you'd like.
Oh, why don't I do that for everyone? So it's a little bit easier.
Better.
Yeah, and I'll leave you my email address also, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.